Morning, second graders. Today is April 23rd. It's a Thursday, and it is week 4, day 4 in our instructional packets. So we'll go through the learning targets together, go through a couple of tricky spots in our worksheets, and you'll be on your way. All right, so let's begin with our learning targets. Okay, so for reading and writing, that first page in your packet, our reading and writing learning targets are the same all week. You're using your spelling pattern. You're focusing on the sound oi and ow this week. So you're using those spelling patterns to help you read and write some words. And then for writing, we're focusing on poetry. And then for math, we are fluently adding and subtracting within 20. And then you are using some worksheets to help you practice that you understand that 3-digit numbers are composed of 100s, 10s, and 1s. All right, so let's go to our first worksheet. Our first worksheet is for reading ABC order. So you are going to, put the words on this side, the left side of the worksheet, onto the right side in ABC order. So look at that first letter in each word, and if it's the same, don't forget when we put ABC order, if the first letter is the same, then you go to the second letter and look at the second letter. If the second letter is the same, you go to the third letter. And if the third letter is the same, you go to the fourth letter. That's how we use ABC order. I know a lot of you got lots of practice with that in first grade, so hopefully it will be an easy review for you guys. All right, so let's go to poetry. Today's poem is going to be Pepper Pete. Pepper Pete is the name of the poem today. Okay, so it's on that page that only has 2 poems on it. There's Pepper Pete. So read the poem Pepper Pete and then go through the lesson plan for today. Okay, so here we are on that section 4, day 4. So after you read the poem, you answer these questions. Why did the bird think Pepper Pete's tongue was a worm? This poem has a warning to not do something. What was the warning? Do you think this would ever happen? Why do you think that? What questions would you ask the Pepper Pete? And then come up with your own questions that begin with how, why, when, where, or what. Okay? So the vocabulary section says focus on the words squirm and swooping. So show someone in your house, or just do it yourself in the mirror. Show me how you might squirm. What does it look like when you squirm, and when might you squirm? Okay, and then show me how something would swoop. What's the motion when something is swooping? And show with your hands or your fingers or a toy. Okay, and then reading with fluency section, go through the poem again and focus on any periods, commas, exclamation marks, question marks, quotation marks, ellipses, bold text, illustrative text, and read the poem with a little bit more expression and emphasis. So don't read it too fast or too slow, and make sure you use an expressive voice. Do not sound like a boring robot, right? That's not how the right way to read. Listening to reading should be enjoyable. So try to read it again with more expression. Okay, and then going to the phonics section, it says to focus on the word swooping. Okay, write it again without the ing ending, so without the ing. And what word do you have now? When you delete the ending of swooping, that last syllable, what word are you left with? Okay, and then write the word squirm. Okay, and what do we need to add to the word squirm to make the word squirming? Okay, and then talk about that. So now I want you to focus on or think of other words like clap or jump or sing, and add ing to other words and just see what kind of list you can make. Maybe you want to write the list down or just say it verbally. Okay, then our contraction for the day is the word theirs. So what does the contraction theirs, what two words does it represent? And talk about that. Okay, and then the creating section in our poetry this week is the same. You are going to read it out loud one more time and clap along to it, make a dance, a song or a rap or something fun like that. Do something creative with the poem. Okay, so that's poetry. Let's go to math. Your math page for today, you are focusing on compare and contrast. You're going to compare using the two different numbers, 3-digit numbers, using the less than or greater than sign. Looks like there's no equal to signs on the page, so this is what it looks like. Okay, so let's see. The first one says compare 250 and 200. And you have to write it in two different sentences. So remember, when we are reading less than, greater than, you look like from left to right, just like in math and reading, we always read from left to right. So if I could read this first sentence, compare 250 and 200, I really zoomed in on that number one. I would read it like this. I hold my iPad the right way. I would write blank is less than blank. That's how I would read it without any numbers in it yet. Okay, so let's try again. Blank, and then I look at that symbol. If you see the symbol, it gives you a clue because look, these 2 points coming together is way less than these 2 points. They are going apart. So this side, we could say there's less than. So this is always when there's a point, when it's the arrow coming together, that's always less than first, okay? So it says blank is less than blank. Okay, so then this one, second one will be blank is greater than, because as you can see, the two lines are far apart. So that's greater than, okay? Greater than blank. So don't forget, when you are reading those symbols, read it like you're reading a book. You don't try not to think of it as an alligator. I know that's an easy trick for some people to use. Think of the sign like an alligator mouth and it eats the bigger number. That helps you know where it should go, but it doesn't help you necessarily read it in the right way like a real mathematician would read it. So if I would write the answer for number one, I would write it like this. 200 is less than 250. Okay? And then down here I would write 250 is greater than 200. Okay? So it's important that you practice knowing what the symbols mean, but also knowing how to read them the right way. Okay? So go through on that worksheet and go through and do all of those compare using the less than, greater than symbol. And then the bottom question asks, number 13, what strategies did you use to compare the numbers? So you might want to say what I just told you, write it out how that's how you read it from left to right, or some of you might want to draw the number using your squares for hundreds, lines for tens, and dots for ones if you need to see it visually. That would be a strategy that you could write down for number 13 as well. Okay? All right, so that's our worksheets for today. And I will see you all very, very soon. But our weather is looking not too nice for the next couple days, but just a little bit of rain, hopefully no snow. And you guys just let me know if you have any questions, okay? All right, bye-bye.